It's that time of year for baking and making all the fun cookies, so you definitely need a fabulous holiday-inspired apron. So today, let's create a fun Santa apron. All you need is some fabric, a sewing machine, and some other fixings. It just depends on how you want. I made it with a leather belt, a belt buckle, and some buttons with, of course, fur trim. So, let's get started. After washing your materials, let's go ahead and gather it and lay it on out to cut apart. Mine is quite wrinkly, so I'm actually going to run it underneath and iron really fast. This will help make sure that there's no extra fabric where I don't want it to be. Now I'm going to lay it out and square off the edge of the fabric. I chose not to actually print out my pattern and just to draft the squares onto the fabric, just for time's sake and to save a little bit of paper since it was only squares. So there's the top part of the bib, giving me all the seam allowance I need, and now it's time to cut it all apart. And let's cut the big one apart. There we go. And then I have to draft and cut apart the pocket. Doing the same thing, drafting it straight onto the fabric instead of tracing out a pattern. Then I'm going to serge everything. I'm going to serge around to help maintain the integrity of the apron in the long run. And now I'm going to serge the two top bibs together so that they are nicely fully encased. And now I'm going to flip it right side out and use a point turner to get that point really nice and crisp, and then iron it so that it's nice and crisp. Now it's time to prep all of my pieces. So I'm prepping the pocket there, and I'm prepping the apron here so that I can just do sewing and straight stitching and pinning. So I'm going to top stitch the bib all the way around to make sure it stays nice and crisp, serge it, and now I'm stitching the pocket to make the top nice and crisp, and the side seams of the apron. After both the side seams are done, I'm doing the hem of the apron, which will be covered with fur, so I'm not too worried about hiding it. There we go. Now I'm measuring and making sure that the pocket placement is exactly where I want it, pinning it on, and sewing it down. I'm going as close to the edge as I possibly can, working nice and slow to make sure that it is a good solid stitch. And now I'm going to actually sew the other two pockets in. So I measure and put my pin guidelines and sew in those two pockets. There we go. Now for the belt, I'm going to mark 1/2 inch on both sides of the belt because I'm going to be stitching the bottom part of the apron and the top bib part of the apron 1/2 inch onto this belt. So now that I have it pinned on, I'm going to top stitch close to that edge, pulling out those pins as I go. And as I get to this center belt buckle, I just got to flip over it. So there's going to be a little bit of wiggle room there. Double check. There we go. And there it is. Time to do the top part. So I do it the exact same way. Line it up, pin it, and top stitch it. Move that belt buckle out of the way. Put it back. There we go. And now it's time to do the straps. I cut the straps down, and I cut the big leather piece in half, and I cut those straps down so that they could be fully encased, marked 1 inch from the edge, and that's where I'm going to place where my strap's going to go around the neck. So I will do this on both sides of the fabric, on both sides of the bib. Up at the top, there's the other one. And now I'm going to feed the other strap through, feed it through, then I'm going to add the little adjuster and feed it back through. Find that you then will feed that back through the adjuster. That's not the best way to say that, and then pin it so then you can adjust the neck strap as tight as you want. Oh no, my pin. Sometimes you have to get those pins out with pliers. It's fun times. and top stitch the leather bits down. Oh, I'm really tight on bobbin here. Are you guys ready to play some bobbin roulette with me? Let's see if I can make it through to finish out this project with adding this fur onto the bottom here. Let's see here. You know what? I pinned everything the wrong direction. I can't sew it. So let's go and flip all those pins. Yay. And bobbin roulette. Here's to hoping. And then I'm just top stitching the fur on the top part of it. Still looking good. Woo, made it through that one. Do we think that we can make it through a second one? Let's see here. And nope, missed it. Bobbin roulette over. So I'm just going to top stitch that again. There we go. And then to release the fur, I'm just going to take a pin and pull it out from there. So I'm going to cut 2 more small straps to create a belt loop on either side of the apron so that when the belt loops around to actually attach, it's holding up and in place. There we go. And other belt loop. There we have it. Awesome. Now let's take a look at it on him. Doesn't he look just so handsome? This apron definitely wraps all the way around the body, and the belt buckle in the front is actually what is closing the apron. Doesn't my husband look amazing in that fun Santa apron? And now he can help with all the cooking and baking. I have loved building this project. It's super fun. I hope you have fun building your own, and we will see you next time.